What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I just put in this new raised bed. It's a new raised bed in the garden. I'm excited to plant it, and I figured what better opportunity to film than to do a video on how to get high density, high intensity planted greens. So we've got a bunch of different greens here, all sorts of cool stuff, and we're gonna go over just one of many different methods that you can use to get as much greens as possible out of a raised bed. Hint, pro tip, you don't have to follow what's on the back of your seed packets. So let's go ahead and get planted. So what we're doing here is we're gonna go in rows, but we're gonna plant much closer together than you normally would plant. And so I'm gonna start drawing. I've got a little dibbler here. I'm just gonna draw little trenches. We're gonna shade very close to the side here, and then just very, very close together. We'll probably get about 8 rows here. And then instead of planting standard where you would plant in little holes, we're gonna plant in these trenches, almost pretending like this raised bed is a mini field of sorts. So let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already. Let's go 6 and 7. And so then what we'll do is we'll take seeds and just drop them in these trenches. We will not thin them out because we're gonna let nature thin it out. And we're just going to plant directly like this. We should get way more greens out of this. So we're gonna come in with some Johnny's arugula. This is just a classic little arugula variety. And we can be liberal here. It's almost as if you're planting microgreens. We're just gonna sprinkle, and we're not gonna worry about any sort of thinning out issues. Because again, these will self-thin because some of these are going to outcompete the others for light, water, and nutrients. And we'll just let the ones that don't win that battle of wits in nature, we'll let those ones just die. And so, look, we've got one of these rows planted. All we do is we come in, we do a light cover up of both sides, and that's it. We're just gonna repeat this process for the rest of the rows. Well, I know it doesn't look like much right now, but we've got 7 rows planted in, and we're gonna cut over quickly to just a little paper sketch that I'm gonna draw. I will do an update on this in the future, but I do wanna show you just a quick sketch of what it will look like and why this is a good way to plant. So we're gonna cover the spacing between rows, the spacing between plants, and then also a harvesting method that's going to make sure you get the most out of a system like this. All right, let's get to the pen and paper. So why do we plant in that method? Now, first of all, let's draw our little box, right? We've got our box, and we've planted in a row style system instead of a every X per square foot type of system, right? And so here, this is going to represent our rows in the box. We've got 4, 5, let's just do 6 for this example. So each of these lines here is going to be a row of seeds that you just saw me plant. Now in a normal system, let's just draw a normal system over here. We'll draw one just like this. Here we go. In a normal system, if you're doing lettuce, you're gonna do it every X per square feet, and so you might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're kind of doing it in this method, right? Where you have individual plants that are gonna grow to be fully headed lettuce, kind of like this. And that's why you need to space them in that manner, because if we do a side view here, you've got one plant here, and then you need some space between this one and the next one. So you've got the next one right here. And these need some space, because if they're gonna grow to full heads, the last thing you want is for the head to hit the other head, and then you've got some cramping out, and they're both going to underdevelop. Now, then you might be saying, okay, well, why would you ever do it this way then? This is a way to get full coverage of the soil surface in a raised bed. And so in our method here, since we planted many, many seeds in a row style system, we're gonna be planting it kind of like this, and they're growing in this sort of hedgerow style arrangement where they all kind of grow together. Some of them outcompete the other ones, and then the next row is gonna be doing the same thing. Next row is gonna be doing the same thing. And so you're getting this dense coverage of the soil surface. And this has a few different benefits. Number 1, watering is going to be reduced. Because the entire surface of the soil is covered, that means that the sun our little friend, the sun right here, isn't really hitting it. It is not really hitting the actual soil surface, so evaporation isn't happening, right? You'll have to water less. That's going to save you money and resources. Number two, you've got solarization of the soil. So what's happening there, if I can spell this word, I apologize for that, is the sun is, again, not hitting the bare surface of the soil, so all the microbial life in the soil is going to be protected and it's going to be vibrant and thriving. Number three, you have no weeds. Weeds cannot grow, just like many plants cannot grow, without the essential things they need to survive. Sunlight is one of those things. And if you have a dense mat of nutritious leafy greens covering your entire bed, remember there will also be some right here, and right here, covering the whole bed, well then how are weeds going to come up? Whereas in a system like this, and there is nothing wrong, keep in mind, there's nothing wrong with this system, it's just a different method. In a system like this, you have gaps in sections like this, between the rows and between the plants, where weeds can come up, bugs and pests can crawl around and do all sorts of damage there. Not to say that this is a bad method, there are some plants you must grow this way, but for leafy greens, you can totally do it this way. And part of the reason why, if we contrast, here's our side view of this system, well, here's our side view of this system, where what you're going to have is much younger plants coming up in sort of a matted hedgerow style approach. So you kind of have this matted growth. And what you do is then you take your scissors, take your harvesting knife, or however you're going to use to harvest them, you come in and you cut and come again. So you're going to cut, making sure to not cut the growing tip or the crown of these plants, come through, and you can probably make 4 to 5 cuts at a younger age than waiting for your plants to grow to full-headed size or loose leaf size. So that is why you would do it this way, and it's one way to do it. And you know, on top of that, if you do different varieties here, you can create these really beautiful colored systems that look just absolutely amazing, and then of course produce quite a bit of produce as well. So that is my explanation of why this makes sense. I will do a follow-up on this in the future though. It's that simple, guys. It really is that simple. Cool, unique, different method for planting in raised beds, kind of treating a raised bed like a mini acre, right? A mini plot of land, which it is in many ways. And it's a great way if you have a little bit of space in a front yard or an urban garden to get the absolute most you can out of that space. So until next time, good luck in the garden, keep growing, hit the subscribe and like button if you want more stuff like this, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.